Alabama eviscerates, dog stomps, wipes their tail with LSU 42-13 in Death Valley. What an embarrassing loss for LSU. I mean, is the jig not officially up for LSU? I mean, the cat is out of the bag on this team, right? Nobody trusts this team at this point, especially with having 2 weeks to prepare at home.
Right.
Take off, man.
Brian Kelly's throwing his arms up right now, like, you know what I mean?
Did you hear his freaking post-game presser?
I did not. Did he whine again?
I'll give you a one-liner, and you're probably just going to laugh.
Because he smacked the table on one of them, I remember.
He smacked the table in the first game of the season when they lost to USC and they blew it. Such a bad loss. I mean, it's week 1, but that one definitely haunts them. He said, you would think these guys, or not even quote, something along the lines of, you almost ask yourself, you look at this game and you ask yourself, what were these guys doing the last 2 weeks? Brian Kelly, that's a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Why would you say that in the post-game presser?
Like ownership, bro.
People already have doubts about LSU. Brian Kelly might be gone after this year, as much as I might or might not agree with it. And then you come out and you say that.
Saying things like that, yeah.
You would think these guys, you would be asking yourself, what were these guys doing over the last 2 weeks? Yeah, we are asking that, Brian Kelly, after an
accountability, dude.
Exactly. After an essential 42-6 loss. I just kind of thought he, threw his team under the bus in a little way there. But anyways, man, continue. Sorry. I just didn't know if you saw that atrocious post-game comment.
We're going to get into this in a minute, I'm sure. But look, you gotta act with some poise and accountability to be a head coach. I'm not sitting here trying to tell Brian Kelly how to be, but you got coaches like Mike Norvell. Say whatever you want about him. He's taking accountability every week we've lost.
Right. Oh,
yeah. Sitting at 1-8, he's just like, he doesn't look lost. He doesn't look confused. He's just be like, well, we're just bad. What do you want me to say?
Right.
But he's taking it up for his team, and he's taking it all on himself. Like, that's how you're supposed to do it. But I digress. I predicted the Tide to win this game. I know a couple of my family remember, LSU's going to win, and I'm like, no way. Not the way Texas A&M played them. I was like, Alabama's winning this one. And boy, did they. And like you said, short and sweet for this. No shocker. They outplayed them in every quarter, every way.
Yep.
LSU is just underwhelming, man. They are not a great team.
They don't have enough guys, bro. They don't have enough guys defensively.
Garrett Nussmeier can't do it himself.
Nope.
They're not playing very well against ranked opponents. I can tell you that year in and year out. And they still have to play a Florida team that's starting to warm up and come together. And a Vandy team that's coming off that Alabama win. They're still high on that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. They've been riding that all year. that was their national championship.
Right, exactly. They don't care if they lose another game or if they win another game, excuse me. Bama showed us that why they're number 9, and Jalen Milroe had them 4 rushing touchdowns. Enough said. I mean, that's the ball game.
Yeah. Absolutely embarrassing. I mean, just
awful
on all aspects for LSU. I was appalled at the way that LSU came out and played this game. And just to have no adjustments, to have literally zero answer for Jalen Milroe. And I'm sorry, but he's a one-dimensional quarterback. That's no disrespect to him. That's just assessing his game from an honest
one-trick pony.
He is a one-trick pony. I don't know if he's a Sunday quarterback, but if he was playing college football for a few more years, everybody's calling him to transfer if he's thinking about it, because he is that good. Now, we have seen games where he's been stunted, but when he's on, I mean, he's on a Heisman campaign when he's on. We saw it against Georgia. We see it here against LSU as well. 4 rushing touchdowns, 1 in each quarter, 185 rushing yards on 12 carries is just astounding. For both Alabama and LSU. 109 pass yards. Obviously his counterpart, Garrett Nussmeier, 3 turnovers on the night. All of them were pretty ugly. And the big thing, Brian Kelly came into this game 11-0, undefeated at night in Death Valley while coaching his Tigers, and he finally takes his first loss. And it's a historic ugly loss without a question. And, you knew it was going to be a long night for LSU's defense with Jalen Milroe. He escapes pressure early on, rolls out, finds Ryan Williams wide open, for a busted 2nd and 14 conversion. LSU has to be ashamed after this because this is back-to-back years with LSU giving up 4 rushing touchdowns to Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe had 20 carries for 155 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. This year he has 12 for 185 and another 4. And they also gave up 42 points to Alabama last year as well. So it's like you had 2 weeks to prepare for basically just a Nick Saban-less team. Obviously, Caleb Downs is, with Ohio State, same quarterback. Like I said, mostly the same roster. You've got a new defensive coordinator. You're at home. I want to say last year's game was in T-Town, if I'm not mistaken, in Tuscaloosa. So it's just shameful, really, on all aspects. I mean, Bama comes out on 3rd down, 5 for 5, an average of 5 yards to go. They just end up absolutely rolling over LSU. And again, it's very clear that LSU can't stop the run. And when you go and you pluck one of the best DCs in the nation in Missouri's defensive coordinator before the season to help with the defense, 300. We thought Miami got rolled over running the football. 311 rushing yards at home is embarrassing. Again, to the same quarterback with arguably probably a less explosive playbook. Because KDB, I'm sure he picked up some of those Saban, plays. I don't really know how it goes when, a coach retires, and are they just like, hey, I know you're about to take over this legendary program, so like, here's my 50 best plays or whatever. Like, is that a thing? Someone get in the chat and give me your opinion on that, or maybe research. I really want to know. But it's clear that Kalen DeBoer still has that nice bag of tricks with those explosive offensive plays. I mean, and for even some other ones, Ryan Williams dropped a walk-in touchdown on a Jalen Milroe deep ball, and Jalen Milroe also overthrows Henderson for a touchdown pass on the backside of LSU's defense again. So just more gaps in there. Another SEC referee gaffe, of course. I don't know if we should even continue to talk about the refs at this point. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome of the game. But Justice Haynes didn't score on that second Alabama touchdown. That was reviewed. You could see his forearm was down plain as day, and then they still awarded him the touchdown. It was early on in that game to put them up, and I don't think LSU's defense would have stood up even if they don't give almost at Indiana, even if they don't give Alabama that call. But yeah, that was just definitely rough to see there. I think the only real defensive highlight for LSU was the 4th and 1 stop on Alabama in the second quarter. And then I guess you could say it's good that they limited Bama to 5 of 8 on 3rd down after letting them go 5 for 5 on 3rd down to open the game. So, overall you allowed them to go, 10 for 13? Yeah, very rough on 3rd down for LSU. And then, Alabama goes up 21-6 after Nussmeier's awful fumble. And I said it watching the game. I said, if LSU does not tighten up, they're going to get blown out like 35-10. It was worse. They got blown out by another touchdown, and they put up a little more than 10, but it was really 42-6, effectively until the garbage time touchdown. Garrett Nussmeier, end zone interception, game's over at that point. And I know he was trying to float the ball over the defender's head, CJ Daniels. He had some nice separation on a slant in the back of the end zone. But I guess Nuss just didn't see the defender, honestly, camping out at the goal line. But help me out here, Alan. Do you think Alabama took a turn in this game? And here's what I mean. You allow 2 field goals basically the whole game, major defensive shutout. You're on the road. It feels like the offense couldn't miss, even though they were mainly just running. Your mic might be doing that again. Yeah. No, you're good. Whatever you do when you reach up there to fix it, you're good. I could just kind of start hearing it feedback just before you started talking again. I didn't want it to sabotage y'all. Thanks, guys. I'll be checking in on y'all live now. Thanks, but I got to wash dishes and wash clothes and dishes. Have a nice evening. And I do think Ole Miss is a real contender. Honestly, they are good. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Go be domesticated as hail, as the ladies like to say that we should be.
Yeah, right.
But yes, do you think Alabama took a turn in this game? They allowed 2 field goals basically all game. Major defensive shout out. They're on the road. The offense couldn't miss, at least for running the football. The defense was on the quarterback's ass all night. No big plays on busted coverages for the most part. Do you think Alabama might have turned a corner in this game?
I think so. They definitely were playing like it. They played better than arguably Texas A&M played them. So because LSU didn't have a breath of life in them in this game at all. They didn't even have a pulse. So Alabama is definitely a contender. Especially, if other teams lose, like if Georgia loses again or Texas loses again,
right.
They're definitely a contender. And I can see Ole Miss being a contender as well.
Right.
Like Emery said, like if any of these teams drop another game, because let's face it, the Iron Bowl is always one to watch with Alabama and Auburn. Even if Auburn or Alabama are bad, one of them's going to upset sometimes.
War Eagle in that game, boy.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, man,
to spoil it for them.
But yeah, Bama's definitely turned the corner here. I think
it definitely seems like
they have a different identity now.
Right. I don't know if I'd so much say different identity, because I still don't think Jalen Milroe is a prolific passer of the football. Clearly, he's very great with his legs. But, the reason it kind of stuck out, if you would have said 6 weeks ago, this game would have ended the other way, LSU 42, Alabama 13, I probably would have believed you, because Alabama's defense was trash.
Right.
If you shut them down and make them one-dimensional, the offense dried up.
Absolutely.
And LSU, was able to hang points on people earlier this year. But the way that it's turned around, Alabama's offense is on fire. Their defense isn't letting up anything on a decently good, offense
like
ranked in the country. Exactly. And they just come out the way that they do. I'm like, I hate to say it, but we see it in the NFL, we see it in college. You get to those last, 3 to 6 weeks of football, and these teams just they get a little haze over their eyes. They get a little jaded. They're like, they get on one. They're like, I'm about to really turn it up. I got to call out the LSU fans before we move on to the Indiana-Michigan game. It was clown-like, classless, very low couth action when they're starting to litter the field over the face mask call. That was the right call, by the way. Yep. Just because you didn't grab his face mask, if you grab the side of the helmet, you cannot grab a player by their helmet. It's a penalty every time.
Nowhere near it.
Clearly everywhere everyone in Death Valley just didn't understand football. They got amnesia a little bit at that point. But littering the field because let's be real. You're pissed because you're getting wiped at home. You're getting absolutely dog walked.
Yep.
Come here, little puppy. Like, it was that bad, bro. They were anything that Alabama wanted. Anything. They got it.
You get mad when you're getting beaten Fortnite.
Yes. And you want to throw the controller. You're like, I'm off this game. Like, that was the essential reaction to that. Yeah. And shout out Kirk Herbstreit. He's like, he was like, why is this a thing? Yeah, he's like, why is this a thing? He was like, just looking like
rest
clowns.
In peace, Ben.
Yes, rest in peace, Ben. Had me bawling my eyes out on a Saturday morning in college game day. Taylor was next to me, man. She was, He got a new dog already?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember his name. But
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, R.I.P. Ben, man. Fly high, brother. That was a beautiful pup. The fact that he was able to be with him so much is really great. But yeah, Herbstreit calling it out. Why is this a thing? It's classless. It just looks so lame. Like, it doesn't get you anywhere. It absolutely doesn't at all.